Hi there, welcome to Embroidery video 1 of Pet Portraiture in Embroidery. This will be my first attempted project at embroidery, so you'll be able to travel along this journey with me as you do it yourself, if you choose to do it yourself. This is the first design that I'm going to be doing, and this is a white dog with a dark patch with brindle. But she's predominantly quite white, so I'm going to be doing her on a black cotton fabric. And to transfer the pattern, I'm going to be using white carbon paper. One side is matte, the other side is shiny like gloss, and all you have to do, put it shiny side down, design over the top. This tool came with the pack that I bought online. It's got like, I don't know if you can notice that, little balls on the end. It's not going to focus, but there's a tiny ball on the end. There we go. And there's a bigger ball and a smaller ball. So the big ball is used for the outlines, and the smaller ball is for all the wispy bits of hair in between. I'm going to be placing the final designs in a 20cm hoop, just so that it gives, because if you go too small, you can't put enough detail in. If you go too big, then that is going to take you a lot longer and use a lot more thread. So just make sure that you have got your paper the right way around, which I do. So I'm roughly, very quickly, going over the lines. So I'm focusing on the ear because this isn't a pen. So you can't keep track of what you have done and what you haven't done. You don't want to keep lifting it to check to see if you've got the right area. So now that I've done the main outline with the thicker end, I'm changing to the thinner end just to do the wispy hair direction. Gives me an idea of which way the hairs are going. So back to the thicker end, I'm now going to do the one half of the face. I'm not going to do the eye with the thicker end because that's quite detailed, because I've drawn in the tiny dots of light. So let's just keep on the outlines as a focus. Okay. Now I'm going to use the thinner end to put in all the detail. I've also tried to keep the details as minimal as possible, because as you go along you can add more details as you go. I'm going a bit slower to make sure I get these whiskers right, because that's really important on the placements of whiskers. You don't want lines going anywhere, because outside the edge of the face is not much room for error. Anything on the face you can easily cover up. On the nose, there are just as many light and dark areas as you'd find in an eye. And with her being predominantly white, I don't think I'm going to introduce many other colours, because the texture of the white on its own should give it enough effect. And she's got very, very, very short fur on her face, but then it goes quite long around her neck. Okay, so I have done the majority of that half of the face. Now the outlines on this side of the face. If you are attempting your first fur creatures, I would recommend going for something smaller, like a bunny, rabbit, or mouse, mole, something small, something easy to do. Just to practice stitching in a way that represents fur. Because I'm currently doing other projects for Easter, which require some of the parts of it to be furry. So I'm going to go up to the ear. Right, just the inner ear, and then I'll do all the hairs on the smaller end. Go. So now I'm doing all the small details with the thinner end. They don't have to be bang on where you've drawn. Just give the indication that this is the direction of the hair. And the whiskers. These whiskers I'm not going to draw actually, but they're on the image for me to use as a reference because they are mostly on the fur, and this is the darker side of the face. So I'm going to put all the darker fur in stitches first, and then right at the very end when I'm finished with that side of the face, I will put a couple of strands of white, because her whiskers are white, after all the dark stitches have been put on. So I'm just indicating what direction the hairs are going in this area. And I've not added any detail to the eye on this side because if I remember correctly from the image, there's quite a lot. So I'm just going to visually go by what I can see with the reference photo rather than try and draw it in and make a mess. So I'll stitch the lighter reflective shades after, put the colour of the eye in. Okay, so I'm hoping that's everything. So before you move it all off, keep it in place with your left hand or right hand if you're left-handed, and just lift together to make sure that you have actually got all of it. And I can see there's a tiny bit missing, which is over here. Just one bit. So making sure that's all on. I'm happy with that. Try drawing these a bit. darker. See how that looks. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. There we go. There are some marks up here, but I can remove those. There you go. I'm really happy with that one. And I've got another dog. So I'm going to place the other side of the paper and the fabric. And this is my pug. And he's fawn in colour. So being a light fawn colour, he's going to be done on black fabric. My other two dogs are dark, they're black dogs. So I'll be putting them, I'm hoping to put them on this peach fabric I've got, but it's got some stretch to it. So I'm going to have to just see how I go. Now then, pugs have got a lot of defining wrinkles. And it's the placement of your lines for those wrinkles that are important. So I'm going to go all the way around the outside first. And they have a lot of detail around their eyes because their eyes are very expressive. And pug hair is about a centimetre or so in length in areas and shorter on the face, but they go in every which way in direction. So again, I will visually decide which way the hairs are going to go as they stitch them. I just need the lines and the edges of where everyone is, all the wrinkles, folds. And he has his tongue sticking out. So that's going to be fun to do. This is his tongue. So many more lines and wrinkles on this one. Little squished nose. Now my memory has gone from me and I can't remember where I've drawn. So no, I've not done the whiskers because their whiskers are black. So once I've put all the light hairs in, I'll be able to stitch a nice fine black whisker over the top at the very end. Don't think I've gone over these ones yet. So these are my first attempts at doing pet portraits using embroidery thread. I have done pet portraits using pencils and paint in the past, so I do have some concept of colour, brushstroke direction, blending, but as to whether or not I can do it with thread remains to be seen. But I will video my progress. I will video some techniques that I learn along the way to share them with you, so that then you can try them on your own designs or pet portraits of your cat, dog, rabbit, budgies, birds, snakes, reptiles. Right then, just going to put 2 lines here. So let's see, lifting the edge, if I've got it all drawn. Why hasn't that worked? Have I done it the wrong way? There you go. Classic artist mistake. I've completely done it the wrong way. There you go. Lesson learnt. Check before you start. And now that's going to make this video even longer. I've never done a portrait of my own dogs before. Done plenty of other people's dogs and cats, but never done one of my own. Never had the time. But I think the reason why that's never happened is because I was always destined to do embroidery. And I love doing embroidery so much. It's taken over my whole art life. I used to paint and draw every day, but now I embroider every day for hours and hours and hours. I just love it so much. I find it so relaxing and challenging at the same time, because you've always got to be thinking where that next thread and where the needle's going next. And getting those colours right and blending well is a big challenge. But with all my years of experience doing pet portraiture, I'm used to navigating around an animal's features and structure. So I do have a bit of a head start. But try and keep your initial sketch as basic as possible, because you want to get the likeness as close to what your pet looks like as possible. There we go. Right, let's check to see if I've got. I'm going to have loads missing, obviously, because I've done it really quickly. Yep, not done his nose yet. First time round, at least I knew kind of where I was going, but now it's like, oh, I've got no idea what I've done. Okay, what's missing now? Tongue. So this would have been a shorter, much shorter video if I hadn't have fluffed it up in the first place. Just making sure that I have got all the lines that I need, because once you remove the design from its place, it's extremely impossible to try and get it back in the right place. So you've got to get all this in one go. Right, I'm happy. Nearly. I'm happy I've got everything. So don't do what I've just done. Always check to make sure that you are actually drawing and using the right side before you begin and get well stuck into it. There we go. I'm going to remove that now. I'm happy with that. So they are my two designs to embroider. Let's put this on. There we go. So this is going to be fawn and browns, light colours with a few darks, and she's got half a white face, mostly white. Her ears are dark with brindle, which is light coloured flecks of brown mostly. Really excited about this, really looking forward to it. Next video, I'm going to start on this one first. So the next video will show white stitches that I've begun. So I'm going to start with the white side of her face first. Please like, subscribe, come and find me on Facebook and Instagram. All my accounts are under Embroidery. I hope to see you there, sharing your work. I love to see what you're doing. I love to see if you're joining along with any of my stitch alongs. And I'll see you in the next video.